Hey guys, what's up? My name's Hilton, and for those of you who've been following my channel for a while now, you will have known that I installed ambient lighting in the dash in my Jag, and I also installed ambient lighting in the front doors. I even did a video where I installed ambient lighting in the rear air vents, and the last phase of this project was to do the rear doors. But as I mentioned to you guys, I had a bit of a problem there because I couldn't tap into the window switch because there's less than 1 volt worth of power coming from the door control module to the window switch. So I couldn't use that to tap into. And the only way that I could actually get ambient lighting into the door was to go through the rubber grommet between the door and the body. So that turned out to be a bit of a dud because I took everything apart and I tried to do that, but it didn't work out, and I'll explain to you guys why. But I have changed the angle on how I'm actually going to tackle the rest of the ambient lighting, because I do have the cables underneath the seat right now available, and I decided I'm going to use them for something else. So let me show you guys what I'm going to do. So here we are looking at the rear door, and so what I did is I actually removed the B-pillar trim, this lower part, because this actually comes off first and then you can take that off, but it wasn't necessary to take that off since the rubber grommets to the rear door actually sits right here. So all I had to do was take this black one off, and I didn't even take it off entirely. But if you guys want me to do a video on how to remove the B-pillar trim, I know a lot of guys have had, rattles in their B-pillars and so on, and they're looking at write-ups and that kind of stuff on how to remove it, which isn't very clear. So if you want me to do a video on that, then pop a comment down below and I'll do a video on that. But I opened this up, and that cable that runs through there plugs into a very, very large plug over here. But that plug is so big, you can't get it through the hole on this side of the grommet over there. So my idea was to actually pull the cable completely out of the door. Unfortunately, I couldn't do that either because inside the door, that cable runs through another rubber grommet to the area where the door card sits. I tried to get the wire through from this side into that rubber grommet, and I just couldn't get it right. There is no space in this thing. The wires that run through there are so thick. It's a thick band of wires that run through there, and not only that, on the other side of this rubber grommet there's a long rubber piece that actually comes out of it, which is taped to all those wires coming through to make sure that they are not able to move. And obviously they don't want, with you opening and closing the door all the time, for the wires to keep bending and then eventually breaking. And for that reason, I changed the whole angle that I'm going to approach the ambient lighting with. I'm going to run EL lighting all along here and all along the center console right up to the dash. So I'm going to have one on either side, and I thought I might as well do that because I do have my wire. You can see the wire sitting down there. So there's my plug that I already pre-hooked up in my previous video that I showed you guys when I hooked these lights up in the air vents. So rear passengers will be able to enjoy the hue of the ambient lighting in the front, as well as some ambient lighting coming down the sides as well as in here, and I think that's more than enough. All we need to do is we just need to pull this away from the edge, because this really just holds this air vent in place, and we can then move the air vent out of the way. Now the 2 clips that clip into here, they're probably the most difficult part of getting this thing unclipped, and I'm actually just going to leave it lying there because it doesn't really matter. Here is my plug that I hooked up previously, and what I did is I've actually made a larger wiring harness, and it's approximately 1 meter long. So I made this entire harness up with a plug on either end. I'm just going to also cover this with automotive tape. This cable is going to lead to this cable. Now it has a male plug on that end and it has a male plug on that end. So I have female plugs on either end of this thing, and I'm going to use this part for my meter-long cable. I'm just going to plug it in here like that. So right now I'm in the front of the car, and you can see I've got the wire underneath the seat rail, and the easiest thing to do is to put the seat as far back as possible. As you can see here, you can see there's a carpet join over here, and that's the easiest place for you to get your cable up and through. And what you can do is you can actually hide it in here and then take it underneath your center console trim all the way to the back of the car where you need it. And this really is the best and only way you can actually get your cable to this side of the car underneath the seat rail, because we don't want it to get snagged in the seat rail when you're moving the seat around. So I've got my wire coming in through here from the front, just like I did the cable for the lights that are here in the vents. So I ran that cable through the hole down there, because there's a hole between the carpet here and this metal bracket. So the cable actually comes through over there, and I've tucked all the cable way deep inside there because there's no way it's going to be able to rattle around in there. And now I have my AC converter and I have the other end of my AC converter. So I've used some of this gel tape, which you can buy on eBay or AliExpress, and that stuff really sticks like crazy. I put some on the bottom of the AC converter, and I'm going to stick both AC converters on that control module down there, because that's the best place for them to sit without creating rattles or noises. There's my AC converter sitting there, and the other one is going to sit on that side over there. And I have the cable now coming out, which is going to attach to my EL wire. I have to make sure I route the EL wire through here. It's got to come through the bottom of this bracket. I apologize for the skew angle of the camera, it's resting on my lap, but this is essentially where we need this cable coming through. I'm just going to plug it in, and then we can take all of this back inside here. So I want this in here. There's like a black box over here, I don't know what that does, but I just need the EL lighting to be at a point where it's at the start of this trim, because that's actually where it's going to fit. So I'm going to leave that lying there for now, and then get the other one hooked up to that side of the passenger side of the car. And once I've done that, I can button everything up and then get the EL lighting into the dash. Right, so I've got both AC converters in there now, and you can see they're sitting on that control module over there. So they are actually glued to that thing now with that double-sided tape, and they can't move around. Now you can see I've just stuck all my wires, I've just meshed them inside there, and those aren't going to rattle, they're not going to move around. There's no way they can move around actually. So I'm quite happy with that, and I'm just going to button everything up, and then I can run the EL lighting to the front of the car. I'm just making sure it's a really, really nice fit. So now after getting that in there, I think we can move to the front of the car. As you can see, it's coming around the front of the car here, and I'm running it all along here, and I'm actually here right now. So in order to take it all the way to the top, I need to just remove this trim piece. I just wanted to show you guys that this is actually what it looks like during the day, and it's now running all along the console, and it's practically imperceptible. It's only going to be noticeable when it's actually on, because the nice thing about this EL lighting is that it actually looks like a chrome strip, so it kind of looks like it belongs there. I am a little disappointed that I didn't get to put ambient lighting in the rear doors, but I think considering the fact that that ended up in me putting ambient lighting in the center console, which is something I did think about. I had it, I think, in my X260, and it looked very nice, but I ran that from the front to the back, not from the back to the front. But considering that I already had pre-wired my cables underneath the front seats, it made it very, very easy to run it from the back to the front, and it ended up working really well because I had somewhere to put those little AC converters, and they're out of the way, they're not going to make a noise. So on the EL lighting, many of you have actually asked me two things, and one of them was, don't I find that these things, the AC converters, make a noise? While you're sitting in the car with the headlights on and the engine off, you can hear the slight buzz coming from the little AC converters. But when the engine's running and you're actually driving, there's so much road noise and ambient noise that you actually can't even hear it. The other thing is, someone commented that they read that the AC converters on the EL lighting actually catch fire. I think I had about 5 or 6 of them in my X260 Jaguar, and I never had any problems with those. I had the car for at least 9 months afterwards, and they didn't catch fire, they didn't act up. I never had an instance where they stopped working. They were quite reliable. So the moment I go in an underground garage, the automatic headlights turn on and the ambient lighting inside the car is on. So granted, it's not on very long, and I don't do a lot of nighttime driving with the car, but I never found that they gave any problems or any trouble. If I do encounter any problems or it does cause a fire in the car, obviously I'm going to post it on my channel. I'm going to tell you guys about it. So, here's hoping that never happens. But I'm going to leave you guys with some shots of the car, just waiting for it to get dark, and you guys can enjoy it. And let me know down below what you think, and stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye.